You know that feeling, right? You walk out of a meeting and think, well, that was an hour of my life I'll never get back. We have all been there. So today, we're going to crack the code on workplace communication. I'm talking about a simple toolkit that can turn those totally frustrating discussions into seriously productive collaborations. Ready? Let's dive in.
Oh yeah, you can just picture it, can't you? A room packed with smart, talented people, but the conversation is just going in circles. You can literally feel the energy getting sucked out of the room. And look, it's not just frustrating, right? It's a massive drag on productivity. But here's the thing. What if there was a simple framework to fix all of this?
So here's the twist. The problem usually isn't the ideas themselves. The creativity's there. It's the conversation that breaks down. Amazing, brilliant ideas just get completely lost in this tangled mess. But the good news, and this is really good news, is that effective communication isn't some superpower you're born with. It's a skill. And today, we're going to give you the tools to start mastering it.
Okay, so how do we actually untangle that mess? Well, it all kicks off with that very first step, just proposing a new idea. But, and this is key, there's a right way and a not so right way to do it. So let's explore how to share your ideas in a way that actually sparks collaboration instead of, conflict. I want you to imagine you've got this communication toolkit, and inside there are just 4 simple, but believe me, powerful tools. When you use them right, you can build pretty much anything: stronger arguments, better products, and way more collaborative teams. The best part? These tools are super easy to learn, but they will absolutely fundamentally change the way you work with other people.
So what are these 4 essential tools in our kit? All right, they are suggesting, counter-suggesting, agreeing, and disagreeing. Now I know they might sound kind of basic, but each one has a very specific job to do. So let's break them down one by one and really figure out how to use them like a pro. First up, we've got the most fundamental tool of all, suggesting. This is where innovation is born, right? It's that simple act of putting a new idea out there. You know the phrases, I think we should, or hey, what if we tried? This right here, this is the spark that gets everything moving.
But hold on, a good suggestion is way more than just an idea. It's really an invitation for everyone to collaborate. The best ones, they're clear, they're specific, and they're framed positively. But here's what's absolutely crucial. They show you're actually open to other people's opinions. So you're not just dropping a finished product on the table, you're kicking off a conversation.
Okay, on to our second tool, counter-suggesting. Now this one gets misunderstood a lot. People think it's just disagreeing, but it's so much more nuanced than that. It's not about shooting an idea down, not at all. It's about building on it. It's about taking that first spark and helping to shape it into something even stronger.
So what's the secret to doing this well? It's all about respect. You always start by acknowledging the original idea. Find something good in it. Then you frame your alternative as just that, another option to think about. The goal is always to build the conversation up, never to tear someone's idea down. It's really just collaborative problem solving, plain and simple.
And this really lays out the difference perfectly. Think of it this way. Suggesting is what sparks the fire. That's all about innovation. Counter-suggesting is about tending the fire. Shaping and refining that initial spark to make it burn brighter and stronger. You absolutely need both to make any real progress.
All right, so we've covered how to get ideas out there. But what happens next? Now we got to talk about how to respond to them. Our next 2 tools are all about building on the discussion that's already started. And this is where things get interesting, because this is where you can either take a conversation to the next level or stop it dead in its tracks.
Look, in any healthy, productive discussion, you're going to have both. You'll have moments where everyone's on the same page and moments where people see things differently. The real skill is being able to navigate both of those moments constructively. That's what turns a potential argument into a really productive debate. So, let's take a look at how to do that.
Our third tool is agreeing. And I know this one might sound obvious, but don't underestimate how powerful it is. A simple, hey, that's a great idea, can do wonders. Seriously, it builds momentum, it makes your teammates feel heard and valued, and it creates this atmosphere where people feel safe enough to share their next big idea.
But if you want to make your agreement really land, you've got to go beyond just saying, I agree. Being specific is everything. Explain why you agree. What part of the idea resonates with you? Doing that doesn't just reinforce the idea, it also proves that you are actually listening and you're engaged in the conversation. It makes a huge difference.
And that brings us to our final tool, the one that, let's be honest, probably causes the most anxiety: disagreeing.
But here's the thing I really want you to hear. Disagreement is not a bad thing. In fact, it is absolutely essential for a healthy team. The real challenge isn't to avoid disagreeing, it's to learn how to do it in a way that's respectful and actually moves things forward.
So how do you disagree without, being disagreeable? It really boils down to a few key things. First off, be polite. Always acknowledge the other person's point of view. Then, just clearly and calmly explain your reasoning. And this is probably the most important part. Try to offer an alternative solution. That one little move completely shifts the focus from conflict over to collaboration.
When you look at them side by side like this, you can see they're really just two sides of the same coin. You absolutely need agreement to build momentum and create that positive, safe environment. But you also need respectful disagreement to challenge assumptions and make sure the team is making the best possible decisions. A truly great team, they know how to do both and do them well.
Okay, so we've walked through the 4 tools in our communication toolkit. But what's the real payoff here? Like, what's the actual, real-world impact of getting good at this stuff? Let's talk about why developing these skills is honestly one of the single best investments you can make in your entire career.
I mean, the benefits are just huge. We're talking about smoother collaboration, way faster problem solving, even things like workplace safety get a massive boost. And think about it. In the crazy, fast-paced world we live in now, a team that communicates well is a team that can adapt, and a team that can thrive no matter what gets thrown at them.
And let's be clear, this isn't just about everyone feeling good and getting along. Great communication has a direct, measurable impact on the bottom line. When teams are communicating clearly, they are just flat out more effective. That means fewer mistakes, less time wasted, and honestly, a lot less stress for everyone involved. It is a game changer for productivity.
But, it's not all about productivity, is it? At the end of the day, we work with people. And when you start using these communication tools the right way, you're not just building better spreadsheets or better products. You're building trust, you're building respect, you're building stronger relationships with the people you see every single day.
And really, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. You can have a room full of the most brilliant experts in the world, but the thing that transforms them from just a group of individuals into a truly powerful team, it's their ability to communicate with clarity and with respect. That right there, that's the glue that holds the whole thing together.
So, the next time you head into a meeting or a team huddle, I want you to think about this toolkit. Maybe you'll decide to focus on making one really clear suggestion. Or maybe you'll practice disagreeing just a little more constructively. The question I'll leave you with is this. Which one of these tools are you going to use tomorrow?